Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. Iran has ruled out immediate participation in a new round of negotiations with the United States. At a press briefing, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Bakai said Tehran currently has no plans to join a second round of talks with the US. He cited Washington's unrealistic demands and constantly shifting positions as major obstacles to diplomacy, adding that the US is not learning its lessons and is not serious about negotiations. Bakai accused the United States of violating the ceasefire from the very beginning of its implementation. He said Iran had informed Pakistan, acting as a mediator, about these violations, particularly highlighting the continuation of the US naval blockade as a breach of the agreement. Moreover, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has called for diplomatic efforts to ease tensions with the United States, even as mistrust deepens ahead of the expiry of a fragile ceasefire. Speaking on Monday, Pezeshkian said that every rational and diplomatic path should be used to reduce tensions with the US. However, according to state news agency, he emphasized that vigilance and distrust in dealings with Washington remain an undeniable necessity. Concerns have grown that the ceasefire between the United States and Iran might not hold after the US said it had seized an Iranian cargo ship that tried to run its blockade. The US military said it fired on an Iranian-flagged cargo ship headed towards Iran's Bandar Abbas port after a 6-hour standoff, disabling its engines. US Central Command said Marines then rappelled from helicopters onto the vessel. President Trump wrote on social media that they have full custody of the ship, while Iran's military said the ship had been travelling from China. A military spokesperson warned that the Iranian armed forces would soon respond and retaliate against this armed piracy by the US military. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif held a telephone call with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian to discuss the evolving regional situation and ongoing peace efforts. The Prime Minister thanked Iran for sending a delegation to Islamabad, describing the engagement as constructive, and shared updates from his recent talks with leaders of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey. He reiterated Pakistan's commitment to facilitating dialogue and promoting regional stability, while also acknowledging Iran's engagement with Field Marshal Asim Munir during his visit to Tehran. President Pezeshkian appreciated Pakistan's diplomatic efforts and expressed confidence that bilateral relations would continue to grow stronger. President Donald Trump has said that his representatives, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, will travel to Islamabad on Monday for fresh negotiations with Iran. However, US media reports suggest that Vice President J.D. Vance is again expected to lead the US delegation, despite Trump's earlier statement that he would skip the talks. Trump wrote in a social media post that failure to accept the proposed deal could lead to US strikes on Iranian infrastructure, including power plants and bridges. He described the offer as fair and reasonable, but made clear that military options remain on the table. Meanwhile, security and other preparations have been completed in Islamabad ahead of the second round of US-Iran talks scheduled for Tuesday. Heavy police deployment and barbed wire were seen around the hotel in the capital's high-security red zone, where earlier negotiations were held. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has insisted that Iran will not give up its nuclear rights amid ongoing tensions with the United States. According to Iranian media, Pezeshkian questioned Washington's authority to restrict Iran's nuclear program, saying no justification has been provided. The remarks come as disagreements over nuclear issues continue between Tehran and Washington. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has overseen ballistic missile test launches as part of efforts to evaluate the performance of warheads carrying cluster bombs and fragmentation mines. State media KCNA reported that the tests represented the 4th ballistic missile launch this month and the 7th this year. The tests involved 5 launches of upgraded short-range Hwasong-11 RA surface-to-surface tactical ballistic missiles to evaluate the power and performance of the new warheads. Oil prices have jumped more than 5% on fears that the ceasefire between the United States and Iran could collapse after the US seized an Iranian cargo ship while traffic through the Strait of Hormuz stayed largely halted. Brent crude futures advanced $5.08, or 5.62% to $95.46 a barrel, and US West Texas Intermediate was at $88.86 a barrel, up $5.01 or 5.97%. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.